Well, happy Friday. It's good to see everybody. We're back here with Husker Online Headlines, brought to you by our presenting sponsor, StayHome.Care. We'll hear more about them, but you can always call them at 402-205-2233 to learn more about them. Also brought to you by Crani-Yum. And let me tell you, Sip, after being away for the last week, adjusting to daylight savings time, time zones, the first thing I grabbed in the office was a Crani-Yum.
Hey, so where were you? Naples?
Well, let's get the ad done first.
Okay.
and we can talk more about, but with Crani-Yum, made by both two lifelong Nebraskan Husker fans out of Fremont, comes in 5 great flavors. It's sugar-free, all natural. It doesn't overdo it on the caffeine. In fact, it kind of gives you more of a slow release caffeine.
It does.
And it includes special nootropics that help your focus level. I am drinking the newest flavor, the cran grape flavor. We also are big fans of the blue. They're all good, though. All 5 flavors.
They're all good. I need to inject it in my veins for focus.
But we've got a great special, and you can find it at a lot of Hy-Vees in the health markets, places like Complete Nutrition. A lot of gas stations in different parts of Nebraska even now carry it. But the easiest way, and will help support Husker Online as well, is visit the website, drinkcraniyum.com. Use the promo code Husker Online. You'll get 10% off, free shipping as well. You can use that code unlimited times. That's the best deal with free shipping. Get it anywhere in the country. Drink Crani-Yum. That's Y-U-M at the end. Promo code Husker Online for 10% off and free shipping. Thanks to Crani-Yum, the official sponsor here of Husker Online, one of our great beverage and longtime sponsors. But yeah, back from Florida, Mr. Sipple.
Yeah. How did you get away?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, again, when you go on a vacation with your kids, I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
2 girls and a wife.
Yeah,
your wife is a woman. So there were a lot of beach time.
Pool. Then there was a neighboring hotel we had access to that had a water park.
A neighboring hotel.
Yeah, the hotel we stayed at in Naples had like a sister property and had a water park.
Oh, nice. So Carly for sure is young. Is she outgrowing that sort of thing?
No, she enjoyed it. And
how old is Kit?
12.
Yeah, she's still in that range. It's about, water parks are about over though, right?
No, we went down the. I mean, I go down the slides.
I don't need to.
And we're people that we get up early on vacation.
Okay,
and we go right to the beach or the pool at 8 or 9 in the morning and kind of get situated, and then after lunch you kind of go back to the room in the afternoon and relax a little bit. But
did you have to fight for space?
No, it wasn't that bad. Now the beach was pretty crowded, but there's plenty of chairs still. They set up chairs for you.
It gets crowded though, huh?
Yeah, because the people from the other hotel get to go to the beach too.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, it's pristine beach. Like it was.
Is it?
Yeah, and the water wasn't cold, and it's not very deep. I mean, we did see a whale, like a smaller black-tipped whale was literally like you could have walked out to it.
Wow, that I've never seen that.
No, it was freaky.
Yeah. Were people?
Well, people thought it was a shark at first.
Yeah. Did the whale stay there for a period?
Yeah, it was just kind of like hanging out, and there was, I don't know if they were curious people or like marine experts, but they were kind of like right next to it in a boat.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
Were people still swimming?
Not near it, no.
Not near it. But
I'm not going to try my luck on that.
No, it's really interesting.
But yeah, you had spring training going on up there. We were right by. We didn't make it to a game, but the Red Sox. I could have gone to Red Sox Phillies. That would have been a pretty good one to go to.
You decided not to go.
Yeah, spring training doesn't really do it for me.
It would just been a thing where you might have gotten away on your own and had a pretzel and a beer and
just watch the game.
Yeah.
But no, it was good to get away. Of course you run into Nebraska people though. Like, I mean, I'm walking with my father-in-law, Larry. He joined us. They have a place out in Naples, and they met us one night for dinner at the hotel.
Italian.
And at the Italian place. And as we're walking to check in, a couple people from Fairbury stopped us.
I'll be damned. I'll be damned.
Listeners of the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
Ran into one of my good friends from Holdridge, Tyler Grassmeyer, was in my fraternity.
Just randomly in Naples?
Yeah, at the hotel. And he used to work for Ben Sass.
Okay.
And now he works for Microsoft, and he was down in DC.
Just vacationing?
Yeah, just down hanging out.
So people vacation in Naples.
Oh yeah, it's very, very popular in like February and March and April.
All right. That sounds pretty good. What was the best meal that you had?
Best meal, God, the Italian restaurant was really good at the hotel, but there was a steakhouse that we ate at one night at the hotel, and it was
The hotel had an Italian and a steakhouse?
the hotel had a sushi place, an Italian place, a place on the water that overlooked the sunset.
Nice.
It had a Mediterranean grill and a steakhouse.
Wow.
So you had like every kind of option you wanted
Right there.
right there.
So did you venture off very far?
Yeah, the malls, the shopping.
Did you go shopping?
I bought a pair of shoes at Nordstrom's Rack. That was my big purchase. And a t-shirt at the hotel.
Did you walk around with the girls or did you just sit somewhere?
Both.
Yeah.
Some of the places you go shopping, if you go with your wives and daughters, and we've got a lot of listeners like me in that same boat. I mean, you go to these, there's nowhere to shop for men. You just you're like, what do I do?
God, that gets stressful. You they see $1,000 purse. You're like, what are we really doing this? You want $1,000 purse? Like stuff like that.
And you go to these like giant, it's like an outdoor mall. And there's nowhere to even go to the restroom. Like
I never thought about
you're
that.
like, I just want to walk around and find the bathroom.
Is that right? They don't have them?
They don't like,
or do they? Or they just don't
you got to
present?
go to like a restaurant or something. It's like, God,
Are you sure the bathroom just doesn't present itself that if you ask them, they'll say, sure, it's right over here.
No, I think it was you walking around, but yeah, we had a good trip.
I just want to go to the bathroom.
There was a Whole Foods like down the away,
paycheck, yeah.
and that's where we had to go. There was nowhere. I mean, it's pristine malls too.
So you were gone 5 days?
5 nights, yeah.
5 nights.
Watched the World Baseball Classic. You know, it was weird because I did watch Nebraska, Iowa
when you were there,
and that was the one Husker game that was on.
Yeah, Nebraska, Iowa.
And
yeah, you were. Well, that was Sunday, so that was your first
Sunday.
day.
That was our first full day there.
Yeah,
but yeah, good to be back. And
is it?
I apologize. We had a lot of people wondering where were you guys at. We were, because
that's kind of weird. We don't take breaks like that.
We started this show years ago, just doing one show a week, and then we grew to 2.
Yeah,
and we grew to 3.
When did we grow to 3? 2 years ago.
So yeah, last year, and then we were 2. Kind of, we needed to come up with a second concept with On 3, and they wanted us to do a second show, and that's how we came up with Headlines.
Okay,
but it's good to be back. I missed you.
Oh gosh, that's nice of you to say. I kind of missed you too, actually. Now that you mention it, hey, yeah. There wasn't too much going on, though. You know, it wasn't one of those times when you left and like the AD resigned or anything like that. That's this happened to me too. Seems like when you leave for vacation, something big inevitably happens. But not this time.
Other than and we'll get into that.
We're going to get in. Other than what?
Other than that takes us to headline number 1.
Perfect.
Let's get into headline number 1.
Yeah.
18 different Nebraska players are taking on the College Sports Commission. That is kind of the big non-Husker basketball story going on right now. And it's really one of the bigger storylines within college athletics because of what's happening. You've got Nebraska, who did away with the collective 1890 and obviously have their full revenue share money. But on top of that, they, came up with this new stream of revenue with their multimedia marketing money with Playfly, their multimedia marketing partner,
right?
To utilize several $1 million of that money as multimedia marketing deals for the athletes. Well, the College Sports Commission has rejected some of these deals, and they've done it for other schools, not just Nebraska. And it's kind of caused this stalemate or this battle that I think we're going to see play out. Can these deals go through the clearinghouse, get adjusted, or are they going to reject them because they say that they aren't true multimedia marketing deals or this or that? But regardless of what happens, a lot of eyes are going to watch how this plays out.
They sure are. And this gets complicated. So listeners just gonna have to bear with us. One thing to remember, and you've mentioned this, and I think you wrote it. Nebraska has a state law that restricts institutions and others from punishing student athletes for NIL, things like that. So if the arbitrator would uphold this denial by the CSC, the College Sports Commission, it's very possible that the Nebraska Attorney General at that point would get involved, right? And that is when litigation could happen. It's very possible that could happen. Then, I mean, I don't know. Then I don't know from there, where does it go? I don't know.
It'd be interesting to like speak to like the former Attorney General, John Bruning, or somebody that would have some insight on this.
They would have to understand the lay of the land.
He worked closely with 1890, John Bruning.
Yeah, he would probably know what the deal is, but it's and people are they're gonna wonder right off. Okay, so are these guys getting paid right now or not? You know,
and if they're not getting paid, it's kind of a problem,
right? Sort of the proverbial elephant in the room conversation, right? Like that's pretty serious. It's a lot of money,
and if you keep paying them, are you risking eligibility?
Right. Listen, it's a story, and I imagine it's fairly stressful.
Could the Big Ten though even get involved and say, no, these players are eligible. Like, we're not gonna like let this happen. Nebraska's players or whoever are dealing, they're not going to be ruling eligible for Big Ten games.
And at that point, it just strips the CSC of power, right?
And I think Petiti and Sankey have that ability. They definitely have that ability.
That would be interesting, right? So it's Playfly, and what some have speculated is that Playfly presented these called stock contracts for in-house NIL agreements, and they're just not structured properly for each player, which, by the way, might make it difficult to win in arbitration.
If there's not like a specific language for what the money's being used for,
right,
or like how they're earning it,
right. So you can see how this stuff would happen, right?
When this Playfly thing is still nobody knows much about it, and I have.
What do you know about it?
I have been around NIL from the beginning, and I've had a pretty good insight to it since 2021, whether it was ABM, 1890, all the different things that have happened. And this new piece to it, I will say this, very few people know anything about, like, who are the people like running it? Who are the people like getting the deals? Like, who are the companies that are involved? I mean, there's just not a lot of information out there as far as like how it's going. And it's arguably as much or more money than what 1890 was paying the team before. So like you're talking about
Playfly NIL piece,
their piece. And we know how big the 1890 operation was, with the PEDS people behind it, the PEDS legal team behind it, their marketing people behind it, their accounting team behind it, their website resources behind it. You had Matt Davison and Joe Seelick, two renowned fundraisers, Carson Schott, Emily Sharp. You had a lot of people, Veronica, you had a lot of people there that ran this. And, it was a significant task. And here we have Playfly, who has no experience doing this now, taking this big piece over. And now we find out it's rejected. So it is, eye-opening.
It is. We got to back up a little bit just so people understand. Remember the House settlement. That cap applies only to rev share. It does not apply to NIL, which is what we're talking about. NIL requires this approval by this clearinghouse, the CSC clearinghouse. Schools that offer full rev share and pay NIL above the cap are not breaking any rules or principles of the House settlement. But these deals have to be approved by the clearinghouse.
Over $600.
Yeah, thank you. Over 600. So that's where we stand. Now, I understand in a broad manner why things like this are happening, because everybody's kind of feeling their way along a little bit, right? This is all new to everybody. So people that come at Nebraska like, man, get your house in order. I mean, again, everybody's feeling their way along on this. It's all very new.
And then the pressure when you see and hear like this team has 30-40 million and that team has this much money.
Exactly.
And you kind of feel like you've got to keep up with the Joneses, and like, man, they just put a swimming pool in. We got to do one.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of like,
right.
And you're committing money that maybe hasn't been approved yet.
Right. So you got to watch it. these, and you figure these are transfer players, right?
Yeah, I would say like most of your rev share dollars are going to be used for your current roster
For retention.
And your recruiting class possibly. And you might even have players that had been getting paid in advance, like Trey Taylor, within the rules. But yeah, then this Playfly money that came on in December, that was probably your pot for the transfers.
And Nebraska got a pretty good transfer haul. I mean, it's your quarterback, it's your 2 linebackers, it's your offensive line. Yeah. I mean, it's
a safety.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's really easy to figure out where the money went. The 2 quarterbacks, Quasi Gilmore, we're at 3 players, the 3 offensive linemen. So that's 6 offensive players right there that you could probably say could command around $5-6 million combined right there. And then you go on defense. McDougal and Chambliss.
And Chambliss
cost money.
And probably Dexter Foster.
And Whitmer cost money.
Yeah.
And
Whittington.
And then Stoudemire, you would assume just by his position, it wasn't a cheap acquisition.
Probably not.
I still think Dexter Foster, if I had to guess, was probably a pretty good deal for what they got him at. Because I don't know what his market was coming off injury.
He could turn out to be a really good deal, Sean.
And so you look at what they've brought in, there's 10 legitimate guys they probably spent good money on.
So people, I mean, understand we're watching it. It's limited what you can do because Nebraska's not going to talk about this. They can't talk about it. There's no way.
It's legal.
Right. It's a sensitive matter that thare not going to address. They did put out a statement that basically said we can't talk about it. So in the CSC, you're not going to get anything. What are you going to get? You know,
do they want this war, the CSC? Because
that's the question.
Do they want their whole house of cards to collapse?
Well, yeah, because what if like a state's attorney general gets involved with it? You know, then what? And
then the nobody, by the way, has signed into the settlement, or the
house settlement
that they were supposed to do. So like if they did, then there would be more rules, but nobody will do it
because they don't want
to. They don't want to, like, because if the Texas schools or the Florida, these schools won't, like, why would you do it?
Yeah. This is all, I wonder how fans feel about all of this.
I think
it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot of information to take in. It's sort of hard to understand. I mean, we study it. I get help from an attorney to understand it. And I have a pretty good understanding from the attorney and you, and just kind of figuring stuff out on your own.
We need Sankey and Petiti, though, to get together with the leagues.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's not easy. That's like asking like 2 countries at war to agree.
What do you need? Do you think
you need them to come up with, a universal system that people are going to follow within these 2 leagues? And then if that happens, the rest will probably follow suit. But you need those 2 leagues. I don't think they're necessarily worried about the Big 12. Yes, BYU and Texas Tech can do some things. In the ACC, maybe Clemson, Florida State, Miami, Notre Dame, and the Independents. But other than those 6 teams, I don't think they're necessarily worried about that. If the 2 power leagues can get things figured out, what are we talking about? 34 teams. That could correct a lot of this. But we're a long ways from that.
Well, what we're talking about correcting is what one question is, like a layman question, is, does it need correcting? Why do these deals need clearinghouse approval? The one's over $600.
And they were trying to get rid of pay for play.
Right. Okay. But we already have pay for play. Right. I mean, that's why it's confusing, right?
Yeah.
You have this clearinghouse, and I get it. I get what they're charged with doing. It makes sense to me, but in a sense, it makes sense to me. In a sense, it doesn't. Why are we nitpicking on this stuff?
Yeah, because does anyone really think that like a random transfer linebacker from that's touted from like the Sun Belt Conference has legit NIL value?
Right. Exactly.
I mean, come on.
Right.
I still think we're about 10 Ross Dellinger articles away.
From what?
From maybe getting somewhere.
long article.
Yes, I think we're about 10 more Ross Dellinger articles, which
Somewhat
by the way, he does an outstanding job.
Oh, Ross is a
He does
reporter.
the Lord's work on this.
Yeah, he's a reporter deluxe, but it gets a little complicated.
I'm
right?
convinced there are ADs and coaches that's all they do is read his stuff on this.
How about being an AD right now, by the way? How about that? Or a head coach? I mean, you think about the stress on those guys right now with this. That's stress, Sean. That's serious stress.
Again, the rules right now, there are no rules. And someone's trying to put rules into place.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
The Attorney General of Nebraska or whoever is going to say, no.
I wouldn't say, let's put it this way. I wouldn't say there's no rules. I say there's floating rules.
But somehow, like, Texas Tech can do what they're doing. Like, it just, none of it makes sense.
Thank you.
None of it.
Thank you. Right.
All right. Well, good opening headline. Before we take it to headline 2, we're brought to you by the presenting sponsor, StayHome.Care. They offer many of the same types of personalized care you might find in a nursing home right in the comfort of your home. Whether your loved one is young or old, living with a disability, recovering from surgery, or just simply needs extra help when they're sick, StayHome.Care provides consistent, compassionate support for personal care and companionship to daily tasks like laundry, meal prep, and assistance with outings and appointments. We're here when your loved ones need you and you can't be there. Head to StayHome.Care to learn more. That's .care, not .com. Again, you can learn more at StayHome.Care or call at 402-205-2233. Our heart is with you because we put our heart into everything we do. Your home, our care. StayHome.Care. Thanks again to our presenting sponsor, StayHome.Care. Well, let's go into headline 2. Matt Rhule likes the spring setup. The Huskers were the first Power 4 program, according to On3, to open up spring practice. They started on February 21st. They're going to be one of 3 Power 4s that joined Clemson and Missouri that have March spring games. And Matt Rhule, I think, had to kind of do this. They were limited with their options because of the Luke Bryant concert that's going, or the Zach Bryant concert that's going to be in Memorial Stadium. And, you know, they had to either do a late spring or an early spring. Well, they chose the early route. And I think a lot of people maybe question it. But now as we kind of transition to this new era, like, you know what, it makes some sense to get your roster going early. You have all your players here, but 3. You have 3 high school kids. That's it. 112 of your 115 guys are in Lincoln right now. Get going early. And then you still have April to continue to do more things after spring.
Yeah, they don't shut it down. Rhule says, I don't know that I'll ever go back. He says, he said he loves starting earlier. He said a lot of these guys, football is their love. They want to do it. So getting them into football early has been really good. Yeah, he likes it. It does make sense. It makes sense to me from the standpoint of, I hope people understand they just don't shut it down. They keep working. You know, they'll take May, right?
And that's everywhere in the country.
Right.
Like everybody gets 2 to 3 weeks off in May. And
then they come back in June, and then they're back in at full go, right?
And then, in June and most of July, other than like maybe a week around the July 4th holiday and maybe a few days leading up to training camp,
right?
It's full.
Yeah. So they're not shutting it down. It makes sense in a lot of ways. It's okay. And the other part of this is, so this is next week. So we're sitting here on Friday. It's spring break starting today or tomorrow, essentially, for Nebraska. So the guys go home or go wherever. Some guys stay here. I think a lot of the coaches will take off. The players will be on their own. So Rhule says this is like a bye week, kind of. When we come back on Sunday, the 22nd, it'll be full go until what? March 28th, which is the spring game. So it's kind of like a bye week. And how will the guys handle it? Will guys go do their running, do their workouts, or will guys go home and do not enough and come back not ready to go? I think he's watching that. I would watch it.
I think what also is unique about this is normally you would expand it out over 5 weeks of practices, and they're doing it over 4 with the bye week in there.
Right.
So they're doing more of an old school, 3 to 4 days a week of practice. Like when they come back, they'll have 4 practices the week of the spring game before the spring game.
And then boom.
And, because of Easter, it kind of throws it off because Easter is the next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And so you couldn't really have broken it up to do 2 weeks after spring break because you don't want to have the spring game on Easter weekend.
That makes sense.
And so but normally you would have seen it Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Well, they've done a lot of weeks where it's been, some weeks have had 4 practices in a week.
Mm-hmm. Seems to be going well.
Yeah.
I mean, in the way he talks about it makes sense.
So they will get this week off, and they've been able to get a lot of recruits here too. I think that's been the other important piece.
Oh yeah.
If you followed Brian Munson, I mean, he has detailed everybody that's been on campus. We have the full list on On3, kind of detailed primers each day of the people that are at each practice. So it's really hard to follow this, but Brian does a very good job of like laying it down. Like, these are the people that are here today. These are the people.
Right. And by the way, it's huge for those recruits to be able to lock in on a practice. I mean, you saw Erickson, Mike, the big, I always want to call him Matt Erickson. Standing like practically next to the coaches watching the offensive line the other day. It's great for those recruits to be, almost like hands-on.
Well, they had Kennedy Brown, who's a 5-star out of Houston, that was at practice this week on Thursday.
That's great. It's great for them to see what's going on.
So a number of high-profile recruits made their way. But, yeah, getting Kennedy Brown from Houston, I know that got a lot of people's attention.
Yep.
Corey Hadley, another defensive back out of Georgia, 4-star. A lot of 4-stars. They've had a lot of 4-star guys as this recruiting class is ranked top 10 nationally for 2027. So
I appreciate they're swinging for the fences.
All right. Well, let's before we take it to headline 3, HuskerOnline Headlines is brought to you by Zipline. Zipline is back in the sour game. They have the lemon berry sour. It's now on tap at all Zipline locations and available in cans at your favorite grocery store or big box stores across Nebraska. Great news for our listeners outside the state, as we're now delivering to Kansas and Missouri. For listeners in Lincoln, stop by the Zipline Tap and Grill in Fallbrook for Malt Mondays featuring $2 Zipline beers, or join us for weekday happy hours and weekend reverse happy hours with discounts on all drinks and great appetizer specials that would make even Sipple smile.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
And it's even on the north side, Sip.
On north side of Lincoln?
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know.
So you might see Sipple at Zipline taking advantage at the Tap and Grill of the appetizers. There's even a special bourbon and beef dinner coming in April by reservation only. Check out Zipline Tap and Grill on Facebook or Instagram for daily and weekly specials to reserve your spot at the bourbon and beef dinner. Until then, enjoy dear old Nebraska brew during the basketball tourney, time at home, or alongside other Husker fans at any of our 3 locations. And they sell it at the ballpark as well. And, going out to that Tap and Grill, if you're going to like a Husker baseball game, that would be a great place to go before or after the game.
Or after, or both.
Or the Westo tap room. That's right by Haymarket.
Yeah, minutes away.
So
literally 4 minutes.
They've been with us a long time, and they are the official beer sponsor of HuskerOnline.
God bless them.
All right, let's take it now to headline 3. You were at practice, obviously, to see the team Tuesday. Give me your impressions. What did you think getting your first taste of the 2026 Huskers?
Well, the thing that jumped out at me most, and this is our first chance to talk about it, was the linebacker. The complexion of the linebacker room has changed pretty dramatically with Owen Chambliss and Dexter Foster. I don't know if we'll get another a chance to view a practice or not before the spring game. I'd say it's possible we might, right? Maybe. I think you'll be almost startled by what you see with Foster and Chambliss, how much bigger they are than most of the other guys, most of them. Long, big, rangy. Think Carlos Polk. Remember Carlos Polk? It's like that. It's very striking. They haven't had a lot of that.
I felt like in the 3-3-5, the type of linebacker, it was just different. The way the linebacker, the whole type of bodies you needed, and now they're going to more traditional.
Yeah, it's definitely more traditional. That's a good way to put it. They're long guy. Owen Chambliss is big, rangy. And I didn't know, I thought Foster was more stocky, blocky, but no, he's big, rangy guy too. It's really, really striking when you see those guys with the other guys. Foster has made a huge impression, and it's very, Anybody who knows, anybody who's been paying close attention, the guys who watch practice, Foster, Chambliss is going to start. I mean, it would be a kind of a major upset if Owen Chambliss doesn't start. Foster, Vincent Shavers is going to be a battle.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Couldn't they run just some traditional 4-3 at times?
I suppose
without the hybrid defensive back.
I suppose,
like on early rundowns, wouldn't you maybe be in a true 4-3?
Yeah, you might. Yes, you could. And in that situation, you might have Dawson Merritt out there. Merritt's going to add to that group. That's a good. When Merritt comes back, it's already a good looking group, but Merritt fits in this conversation because he's a big, long, angular linebacker. Dawson Merritt will fit very well in this.
So that got your attention. Now, Calandria, what were your thoughts watching him?
Didn't watch him much. I was watching the defensive line, the edges. I was kind of assigned to the defensive line, edges, and linebackers. I saw Calandria in the distance. He's small, but he's the talk of the camp, Sean. I mean, wow. You know this because you've written it. He just came in. I mean, I think the thing you got to say about Anthony Calandria is he came in ready to roll, right? You know what we're not hearing? Calandria's off to kind of a slow start. No, we're not hearing that. He's not off to a slow start. He came in guns blazing, which is good.
Got arguably the most experience in terms of games played of any quarterback in college football. I mean, how can you have more than 33 games in 3 years?
That's a good point.
I mean, there's a few that might, but
right. That's a good point.
I mean, in terms of pure experience, he arguably leads the country.
Yeah, and experience is gigantic, and just that age, that you just feel more comfortable with what you're doing. Think about it, Sean. Think about coming in as a freshman opposed to having 4 years of experience under your belt or three years as a starter under your belt. It's gigantic.
Well, just the live reps of feeling defenses and feeling the pass rush. Because I do think as a quarterback that's younger, adjusting to like live pass rush versus practice pass rush is an adjustment.
Oh, God, yes.
Because in practice, they kind of let off. They're not going to finish you.
Right.
And you got to have like the real experience of how to feel that in a game.
Yeah, TJ Lateef got that. The other thing we're kind of learning, I just thought of this right now as you were talking. People wonder what the offense is going to look like. Well, there's 3 things that come to mind that the coaches have talked about. What do they like about Calandria? His ability to extend plays, right? He looks down the field. When he moves out of the pocket, he's not always looking to run. He's looking down the field. So it's almost like when a guy's at the top of his route, a receiver, it's not over. Sometimes you're going to have to do some freelancing. So that's going to be a part of the offense. The other thing they've mentioned about this offense is the screen game, because the linemen are really athletic. That new kind of look offensive line is athletic. So screen game, I think, could be important. And then they talked about outside zone. Those 3 elements right there are going to be big. You can't have too many elements. I mean, those elements tell you a lot right there. Outside zone, screen game, and the quarterback with an ability to extend plays.
Yeah, and I was interested when Dana Holgorsen said how Matt Rhule showed the team Diego Pavia film about how to run routes on broken plays, on improvised plays, because that was not really part of the diet last year.
No, so that's what I'm saying. I mean, we're kind of getting an idea of it, how it's got the new kind of look.
This is the play, and then this is like the play after the play.
Right, it's Act 2. There's Act 1 and there's Act 2.
Yeah, sometimes Act 2 is way more exciting.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Now, there's still staples that have to be worked on. Downhill running game, inside zone. I mean, you got to have that element too. Now, that's where I like when you look at the running backs. Mekhi Nelson really runs well inside the tackles. The thing I wonder about with the outside zone plays is that more Mosey. Mosey operates really well in space. Not that Mekhi doesn't, but the screen game, the outside zone, that's where you think Isaiah Mosey might have a little bit of a edge, a little bit maybe. I don't know that because Mekhi Nelson can run out there too. You wrote in your tunnel talk today. Can I say this?
Yes.
Jamal Rhule has made a kind of
and they're high on Rhule. I mean, I think you have to anticipate he will be a freshman that plays, a true freshman.
Seems like it. If he can get to 3, right?
Right, and I think he is.
Yeah. You think he's headed that way?
And I think Danny Odom's going to play, and Luke Sorensen, the tight end, is going to play.
2 freshmen.
And I think Jamal Rhule. I think there's 3 of the 11 that you can kind of look at and feel good about already.
Yep, for sure. They're already talking about Odom. They're already talking about Sorensen. You're right.
And those receivers are talented. It's just they have a lot of receivers ready. So
right, Larry Miles and Nayland Scott is who you're talking about. Yeah, they are loaded up at receiver. That's the other thing is that you're hearing a lot about Donovan Jones and Jameer Khan and how their versatility is helping the entire defense, but mainly the back end. Those guys are both playing free safety and nickel, which I think are fairly interchangeable positions. But those guys, Jameer Khan has made a big move in this program.
What was Rhule referencing when he said Orich didn't? He said more than he maybe should have.
Orich the other day was talking about the speed rush, the race car package or something. Somebody's going to correct me. Pass rush package. And he said, I don't want to name guys. Then he kind of named them. And what Rhule was saying is, yeah, you got to be careful in this market because you'll name some guys and then the media will do what? Okay, those guys, but what about these guys? We play that game a lot.
Oh, yeah. It's whenever you name names, like people are like, wow, it's never thanks for the names. It's like, but what about him?
Right.
Like
100%.
It's never like, wow, thank you for these names. It's like,
right.
But why not him?
Right.
That's always the cynical Nebraska fan message board follow-up question.
Right. Exactly.
What about him?
Right.
Well, I just gave you 10 names. What about those guys?
I'll tell you what, though, I will say this. For not really, we've only had one view of practice for 25 minutes. If you just listen to what we just talked about, we know a lot more about this team right now. We do.
And everybody knows what the questions are. The defensive line.
Yeah. That's still the question.
And I would say on the offense, like, can Calandria do this in the Big Ten?
And stay healthy.
Like, it's going to look, it's very predictable. In September, it's going to look probably really good. And maybe even in early October. But what will it look like in late October? What will it look like in late November?
It starts getting real, doesn't it?
That's when you start playing like the gristled defensive linemen from Rutgers and Illinois and guys that are veteran Big Ten players.
Well, and just from
Indiana and Oregon, obviously.
Yeah, and just in a practical sense, can he stay healthy? Can Calandria stay healthy? The one thing I hear people say when they first see him is, man, he's small. So can he run and take those hits and stay healthy? I know veteran guys that watch practice. That's what they ask me all the time. Can he stay healthy? Or that's now the good news is you have Latif behind him. And by the way, behind him too.
And Kalen.
And Daniel Kalen. One thing that's informative is it's clear that it's Calandria's job to lose. Now it's become clear. There's no, there's a battle. No, there's not. Calandria is the guy. He came in and established himself immediately.
Yeah, and he's got a swagger to him that is organic, not kind of
not contrived,
not manufactured.
Yeah,
like he's a dude because he's a dude. Like it's not like I'm going to try to be a dude, but I've never been a dude before. Like,
well, he's been a dude before. That's the thing. That's why I don't mind talking about it because at UNLV, he captured a lot of people's imaginations with the way he played. You know that. You heard it in Vegas when that guy at our event said, why aren't they looking at this kid? I talk to people all the time who say, yeah, I watched those West Coast games. I remember Calandria is really good.
And we told that guy, well, because they're going to go after this Kenny Minchie. Like we had found out that week at practice in Vegas.
That's right.
That Minchie was the guy.
And then that guy said that at the event.
At the dinner that night.
Yeah. That guy was on to something.
Oh yeah, he had a big clue in the case there, big lead.
But he didn't know.
No,
he just liked Calandria.
That's the best. Like dealing with so many fans in our roles, like when we go out to these events, like the fans are oftentimes more educated and have better thoughts than a lot of the people we're around in the media.
Well, because we're so hyper focused on Nebraska, what I find is a lot of people that I talk to that don't have to. Their lives don't revolve around covering this team. They actually see other teams, and you can gain a lot of knowledge from that.
So that was interesting. All right. Well, let's, before we go to headline 4, Husker Online Headlines is brought to you by Harry's. And Just actually got done using my Harry's razor and shaving cream.
Hey, you look pretty,
right now.
You look pretty cleaned up. Sean.
Got a little suntan in Florida. Used my Harry's. And if you've never tried Harry's, what they've done is they've created a premium razor that is not going to break the bank. And you're going to get that same quality that you would get by buying a razor that might cost double, triple the amount of money. So if you've never tried Harry's, it's a great product. Not just the shaving rod. So they have shaving cream, balm, you name it, soaps, creams, all sorts of products that are going to take care of you, your face, your skin. And we've got a great deal with you right now for our listeners right now. Go to, you'll get the Harry's Plus trial set for only $10. That's the Harry's Plus starter set. It comes with the shaving rod. It comes with a travel shaving gel foam as well, and a travel case for $10. Just go to harrys.com/Husker. Again, that's harrys.com/Husker for $10. You'll get the Harry's Plus starter set. Thanks to Harry's for sponsoring us here on Husker Online Headlines. All right, let's go to 4. Headline 4. Let's set the stage for Selection Sunday. We're taping this show on Friday, so we can't really go too in the weeds on the Big Ten tournament because we want this show to have some shelf life through the weekend.
Yeah.
But this will be, I think, for Nebraska fans, one of the more exciting Selection Sundays we've seen in a long time.
Oh, God.
Because so many times they've gone in where you're going to be like a 9, 10, 11 seed.
Mm-hmm. Bubble.
And your bubble. This is one of the first times in a long time where they're not only in, they're going to get a seed that's picked to win the first game and maybe the second game.
Yeah, like 1991 when Nebraska was a 3 seed, which is almost – since then, most years was unimaginable, but here we are. And what does that mean exactly? Robin wrote the one thing that people ask, I don't know, they probably ask you, they ask me all the time is as Nebraska gets ready for the Big Ten tournament, how much do the results in Chicago actually matter come Selection Sunday?
I just don't even know if there's a path to the 2 seed. If they won the Big Ten tournament, we've seen this happen where like you do that and then the committee still has you on the 3 line.
I don't know.
But it's like they already have the bracket done.
I know. Well, that's the question.
Like, so do you want to get into like 3 knife fight, eye gouging wrestling matches and play till Sunday afternoon,
right,
to still be a 3 seed and play and then play Thursday in Oklahoma?
Sean, now hold on. My response to that is if you beat Purdue, Michigan State, and Michigan, and you get a banner, a Big Ten tournament championship banner, that never goes away, baby. I mean, that is hanging in PBA forever. And that's a big banner. That's not tucked away behind Eric Piakowski. I mean, that is a banner you highlight.
That field of 8, though, left in the Big Ten tournament, the quarterfinalist teams.
Yeah.
That's about as good as you'll ever see it in the Big Ten.
It's pretty good.
I mean, Michigan, Illinois, Michigan State, Nebraska,
God. Even UCLA,
Purdue, UCLA, Wisconsin, Ohio State.
You're right.
I mean, that is as good of a 1 through 8 as we've seen in a Big Ten tournament in a long time.
So what Robin writes is the 12-person in-state tournament selection committee remains adamant that conference tournament results matter. They've said they have multiple contingency brackets ready in case of unexpected results this week. Then he goes on to say multiple prominent bracketologists with strong track records refuse to believe that conference tournament results matter. So there's no answers.
I do think, though, within the Big Ten, there's probably only going to be 1 2 seed. There's going to be 2 3 seeds and 1 4 when Michigan's a 1.
Right.
So, like, is there a path, say, if Nebraska won the Big Ten tournament,
beats Michigan,
and could they take the 2 from one of those teams and then push that team to the 3? That's probably like where you have to, that's probably how it would happen.
I would think the way I would see that is an injustice if Nebraska went through Purdue, Michigan State, and Michigan and still got a 3 seed. I'd say no, they played their way to a 2 seed.
Got sent to like Buffalo.
Yeah, I'd say no, they played their way to a 2 seed because that's a gauntlet now.
And for whatever reason, everybody seems to think it's like a lock now for Oklahoma City.
They do.
I mean, like Robin is telling people it's 95%.
Well,
I'm like, I don't even know if like Troy Dannon has that kind of. I don't know where. Like, but Oklahoma City,
Robin is well connected.
But
as you know.
I do think Houston obviously is going to be one of the teams there.
Mhm.
There's 2 4-team quads, and then Nebraska could be the other. I mean,
Yeah.
Iowa State, you never know. Like, just depending on what they do with St. Louis.
Bruce Rasmussen, former Creighton AD, was a chairman of the selection committee for a period, and he has told people that I know that be ready for the unexpected. I mean, you never know. He said,
He'll be in Tampa.
He said, yeah, he said, just never, don't count on anything, you know. So I don't know. But I do listen to Robin. And he wrote in Tunnel Talk, 95% chance of Oklahoma City. Wow.
Selfishly, I want Oklahoma City because people are going to think like Duke or Kansas is playing down there because there'll be so many Nebraska fans.
Right. So who else is down there is the key. Is it Louisville that's there?
As the round of 32
like a
games.
Six seed.
And you see like North Dakota State as a 3 versus 14 matchup, which
it would be fascinating. Sam McEwen broached this possibility the other day. If Kentucky could get a 6 seed and Nebraska and Kentucky were in Oklahoma City, think about how hard that ticket would be. Oh, baby, that would be difficult to get. Nebraska, Kentucky it would blow my mind.
Is that arena, like, would you compare it to like the Omaha CHI Center?
Yeah, I've been there a couple
about 18,000.
I've been there. They're very, very similar. A lot of these arenas now are very similar. In Milwaukee, we were just at, is very similar to Oklahoma City, is very similar to Denver. A lot of them are, they're really
what you would love.
Very similar to PBA
is if they are Oklahoma City, but they'd still be in the Chicago Midwestern bracket. Because then if they won out of there, they'd go to Chicago.
Oh God. This could get really, 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 really interesting.
It could get silly.
Yeah. Oklahoma City will be inundated by Nebraska fans. I hope Oklahoma City understands what's coming.
They need Frager, though. They need to get the version of Frager.
Oh, I'm not worried about that.
Back that we know he can be.
Yeah.
Because that's going to help Price. It's going to help Sam.
I think it's more about Jamarcus Lawrence.
And yeah, he was even missing free throws.
Yeah, Lawrence is a very good player. He'll come out of this funk. That's why I think Nebraska has another surge left, because when Lawrence comes out of his funk and Rink has started to come out, he made those 2 threes against Iowa when you were in Naples. You saw it. Those 2 guys are critical. I'm not worried about Frager. He's been all right. I know there was the huddle thing that people talked about and all that, but he wasn't in the huddle. But I thought Frager was okay against Iowa. He's healthy. Frager, like Fred said, Fred said a great quote that we've talked about. He said, we needed Frager's edge desperately on this team. That's what he gives them. He gives them a hard edge.
I'd love to see him get to the rim more.
Yeah. He'll get there.
What was the game where he came down the middle with the huge, like,
I think it was Indiana.
Like an inbounds
at
play.
Indiana?
Yeah, he had an inbounds play one where he just two-hand dunked it.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see where that all goes. But Selection Sunday, if it is Oklahoma City, Sipple and I will be down there. We plan to do shows.
Doing shows, not St. Louis, though?
And probably St. Louis. I don't think that's a possibility, though. I think there's other teams in line for St. Louis.
Okay. So, yeah, let's just play it by ear. We'll know Sunday, then we'll make plans.
All right. Well, before we take it to headline 5, HuskerOnline Headlines is brought to you by who, Steve Sipple?
It's time to sell some cars, Sean. Larson Motors. Larson Motors, we do this all the time. If you're looking for a new vehicle, I don't know why right now you wouldn't go to Nebraska City to Larson Motors. Larson Motors, Larson Motors, Larson Motors. It's one of the Midwest's only dealerships with all of those major brands in one location. You know what we're talking about. Chevrolet, GMC, Hummer, Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Start your new experience today at larsonmotorgroup.com. Slick website. Or just go to the lot at Larson Motors in Nebraska City. Larson Motors, real people.
Real deals. All right, let's get to odds and ends.
Okay.
And let's start with this. FanDuel release the first over-under win totals, and Nebraska comes in at a 5.5, and I think naturally it's gonna, we're not gonna make a bowl game, and I think we both kind of thought it was gonna be 5.5 or 6.5.
Not surprising,
and
it's a good number, right? It's a good number because it makes you think
they could win their first 5 pretty easily, but then the next 7, it's not a picnic.
No, but the way I look at it is if they go 5-0 and the number's 5.5, they're gonna eke one out. I mean,
so
I hate to talk about it like that, but come on.
They play 3 Big Ten teams that have lower over-under win totals: Michigan State, Maryland, and Rutgers.
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically, that would get you to 6 right there. And then what scares you, though, is they play the top 3 over-under win teams. Oregon is 10.5. Indiana's 10.5. Ohio State's 9.5.
Right.
And then they play Illinois, Washington, Iowa, who all have 7.5 win totals, which, that's telling you that those teams could be 8 to 9 win teams, maybe.
Tough schedule. We know that. You're right. I think almost the significance of the conversation is more about that the number's only 5.5 in year 4. You would have expected a couple of years ago that we wouldn't be talking about FanDuel putting Nebraska's record at 5, or excuse me, putting the number at 5.5.
Yeah,
right?
You'd think they'd be more at 7.5, no matter what,
or 8.5. Right.
I mean, not in the scheduling now when you play 3 or 4 playoff teams. That basically 8.5 is saying that you're going to beat a playoff team. Is Nebraska that good right now? Probably not.
No, but there was 4 years into a guy's tenure, would it be that remarkable to make a playoff? Should it be judged to be remarkable 4 years in to be a playoff team?
Especially
I thought maybe they would be at this point.
Especially when you look at what Vanderbilt said. I'm not even going to say the Indiana example.
Don't do it.
But Vanderbilt,
guys got coaches crazy, Signetti. That whole conversation.
Why can't you be like Indiana?
But 4 years is, I don't know. I mean, now what if you're defending Rhule, you'd say, yeah, but look what he walked into. It's gonna take a while. Well, it's kind of been a while. All I'm saying, Sean, is you'd expect the number maybe to be better than 5.5, right?
Well, and there's just things about the last few years that you just couldn't have predicted. Like nobody could have predicted the Rhule marriage would not have worked at all. Like
it didn't work. If we were smarter, we might have been able to look at it and say, okay, you're gonna put a freshman in there and say, steer this ship into the college football playoff. Now Dylan's so confident that he thought he could, but that's a lot. How many freshmen have you seen do that?
I will say, like the Illinois game when they were undefeated his freshman year, it's the Friday night game, and at the first half he was incredible.
He was dealing, but then what happened?
I said to myself, like, they've got like a guy that's going to be a superstar here,
100%.
And then what did Bielema do? He adjusted, and then every single team began to adjust to the point where he'd struggled to complete passes in the Rutgers game.
And Rutgers threw a lot at him defensively.
And just some of those games like that, you're like, whoa. Then it became kind of a rock fight.
But I think, again, I just go back to what I said. How many of these playoff teams just think about it. Who's had a freshman quarterback in the playoff?
Nobody.
What are they doing? They're going to get veteran transfers.
Yeah, they're stealing.
They're going to that's one way to put it. They're going to get veteran quarterbacks out of the portal, right? Which now that's what Nebraska did. And we're talking about him in glowing terms, Anthony Calandria.
Yeah, they're finding a guy with a girl. They're like, wait a minute, that girl shouldn't be with you. And we're just going to buy her from you right now. We're taking her right from you.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, Sorsby at Cincinnati.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go down.
Just went and bought him. Texas Tech went and bought him.
The Duke quarterback.
Yeah.
At Miami.
Yeah. Went and bought him. Yep.
Like, there's like, no. She shouldn't be with you. And we're going to give her a lot of money to leave you.
It's a rough analogy.
It's rough. We don't care that you were with her from day one.
And you're pretty good looking yourself, but you don't got the
kind of help, get things. And then, we're just going to buy her out, take her from you right now. Sorry.
So anyway, that's really good discussion. That 5.5 numbers, that's a good discussion.
All right.
And by the way, I would take the overs right now. I would
too.
But it's funny. I say it very confidently, but I don't know that I'd go confidently with 6.5. I'm just going confidently with 5.5.
Without knowing anything yet, 6 to 7 wins is not unrealistic.
Right.
If you started saying like 8 and 4,
yeah, you're going to get put in your place.
Accused of drinking too much Kool-Aid. Right. All right. Other odds and ends. How about this? Former Husker offensive lineman Teddy Prohaska is going to be a freshman football coach for Elkhorn South, the head freshman coach, and be a teacher, high school teacher.
Head coach. Well, I think Teddy's got a big personality. Kids will follow him. I think he's had a great experience, a tough experience, obviously with injuries, but I mean, Teddy, that's gonna be interesting to see how that plays.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, would he go through pro day? And I didn't think he was going to because of the injuries.
Too banged up.
And then, if you're the Elkhorn School District, what a coup.
Yeah.
To get one of your prize athletes.
Yeah. Respected.
And he was a national top 100 level recruit.
Yep. And he played like that for a period before the injuries set in.
I think about that grade of kids in the Elkhorn School District. You had Drew Christo, who was like a top level baseball recruit at that time. You had Teddy Prohaska, and you had Tucker DeVries.
Tucker DeVries
was in that same grade.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. And there was a point where you thought maybe all three were like bona fide high pros. And Teddy looked like a first rounder when he was healthy.
Well, I remember vividly. I know this person wouldn't mind me saying it now. It was Northwestern, right? When he played really well. Michigan. Was it Michigan too?
Well, yeah, no, the one half he played against that defensive end from
Hutchinson.
Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
He held them sackless.
Right. And I remember Dominic Rhule, he wouldn't mind me saying this. He was saying simple. That's a first round. Teddy Prohaska's going to be a first rounder. There were a lot of people saying that. I mean, Teddy was playing at a very high level early in his career. Then injuries came. And then it got rough, really rough.
Yeah, it's when you're that tall, it's hard to keep the balance and things that you need on your body when you have knees like he had a battle through. So congrats though to Teddy and Elkhorn South. That will be a great thing to follow here in the years to come. Other odds and ends, baseball this weekend, probably get 3-0 out of, they play Maine, excuse me. Maine doubleheader Saturday, one game on Friday. Maine is not a good team. So
Maine is 2-13.
But 2-13. The story here is the RPI on Warren Nolan from Nebraska is 35th.
Okay.
But the Huskers should be 14-5.
Right.
Coming out.
And 35th means you're a NCAA tournament
team. Yeah. And then you have 2 games at Wichita State, the midweek, 12-6 Wichita State. Their RPI is only 242, but then you kind of have a biggie at Michigan, and the RPI of the Wolverines is 66.
That's big.
So you have a 3-game series in Ann Arbor.
When is the Wichita series?
Midweek. You know what?
What is that though? Is that Tuesday, Wednesday?
Yeah. So
you could go down to that series.
Yeah, that's
keep driving.
If Nebraska is in Oklahoma City, you theoretically could break your drive up, go watch Husker baseball play Tuesday night or Wednesday in Wichita, and then go down to Oklahoma City.
It's natural. I've done that Wichita, Oklahoma City thing with the grandkids. They were puzzled. They're like, why are we staying at this casino in Wichita? I don't know why I wanted to, but it's a natural. On the other hand, you don't really need to break up that drive. It's a pretty easy drive to Oklahoma City.
Go see our good friends in Wichita.
We have good friends. Dan Dillon, great friend. Dan, shout out to Dan. He's a great dude. There's others. You've spoken down there many times. I did once. They may not have me back. Chuck.
I think who ran the club.
Oh yeah, Chuck. Yeah, big Chuck.
I think you're in line next to go.
Whoa. Okay.
I think we're on a rotation.
All right, I'll go to Wichita.
I love that drive, and I just love going down there.
Yeah, it's a nice little break.
But that could work out where you might get a few hundred Nebraska fans.
Yeah, they're heading down that way.
Because you could theoretically even stay in Wichita instead of Oklahoma City on Wednesday night, and then just drive in.
Because it'd be a good play.
Because rooms in Oklahoma City are probably gonna, unless you want to stay in the suburbs.
Might make a lot of sense to do it actually.
But yeah, that will be
fun.
So, and then lastly, volleyball, they have set their spring schedule. They will play 3 spring matches. Obviously, the Creighton match was announced in Omaha at the Sokol Arena. And then Nebraska is going to play in the Stanford Pentagon. That one will be against Iowa State on April 11th. The Creighton game is April 17th. But then April 25th, Nebraska will play at Shattern State. And that's an 1,800-seat venue. And they'll be playing Northern Colorado.
How about that? A little road show.
I've been all over this great state of Nebraska. There's 2 what I would label big communities I've never visited: Shattern and Scottsbluff. I've been anywhere else you can probably name in the state.
Really? Now, I've not been to Shattern. I've been to Scottsbluff. But yeah, interesting. We don't spend a lot of time. There's no real reason to.
No, right? Even like when you're going to like Colorado, you don't drive through Scott. I mean, like, no. So it's not like one of those things that you would go through those parts of the state. Maybe if you're going to like the Black Hills, you could go that way. But yeah, that's cool that they're going to continue the John Cook tradition.
Yeah,
of taking the show to a smaller Nebraska venue.
It's great for Abby.
She's
from a writing standpoint.
I think she's got a wedding that weekend.
From a writing standpoint, though, she gets 3. Well, I don't know what her schedule is, but theoretically, she gets 3 opportunities to cover them and write stories, and it's to see the team.
Maybe you and I should go to Shattern.
I'd do it if you want to. I would.
We'll talk about it.
Write a column, do a show.
If we have any Shattern listeners,
hey, I'd do it.
Go out there, do a show.
I'd love to do it. I'd love to do it if Abby's not there or okay with it.
Now they might run us out of there.
Why would they run us out?
What are the football people doing?
I don't think people care.
For some reason, we can't have basketball takes either. There's people that get hammered that don't realize you were a 3-year starting point guard for a Class A team. It's
2 year.
2 year. Okay, 2 year.
Whatever. But yeah, and I covered Nebraska basketball for a long time. Wrote columns about. Usually they'd call me in at the Journal Star when a coach was on the hot seat. Is unfortunately a lot of the columns I wrote. Barry Collier, Danny Nee on the hot seat. Hot seat. Go to the league tournament and write about that. Uncomfortable columns a lot of the time. They were uncomfortable, but that's what they wanted, whatever. In this case, it's not uncomfortable.
Between even guys like Lee Barfnick, you guys had tough assignments back then.
Oh God. Yeah. Cause the coaches were always on the damn hot seat.
And you couldn't write
what,
just sunshine and rainbows.
Well, they weren't 3 seeds.
No.
Danny 91. I mean, that 91 team was the 91 team. I am old enough to say more talented than this team. There was more talent on that roster. I'm not saying they were a better team, but it's Rich King and Cliff Scales and Dupree Owens and
Eric Pikowski.
Yeah, Eric Pikowski and
Chubbuck was a freshman.
Yeah, and Hayes. Those guys, there was more talent.
Well, in the latter years, you had Lou, Vincent Hamilton, Mikey Moore, Eric Strickland,
Larry Florence,
a lot of pros
there. Yeah. But this team is better. This is a team. It's a unique team, and Sanford and Sam leading the way. They are what they are. They're a 3 seed for sure.
I think about Nee had such a loaded roster where Andre Woolridge had a transfer.
Mm-hmm.
And then he became the Big Ten Player of the Year at Iowa because you had Lou, you had Strickland and Boone.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Danny could recruit. That roster 91. Also Farmer, we didn't mention him. Just look at the 91
Rayos.
Roster. Yeah, Jose Rayos. Was it Rayos? Yeah, Ramos. Jose Ramos.
He's from Miami.
Check that roster sometime. It was a big time roster. They were a 3 seed, but lost to Xavier.
Tony Farmer was like a draft pick.
Oh, right? Farmer and King were bona fide long-term NBA guys, as was Pikowski. Rich King was the 14th pick overall. They don't have a 14th pick on this team. They don't have an overall 14 on this roster.
Iowa might.
I got you. They might. Yeah. Sturts?
Yeah.
Cade Cunningham is shaking in his boots right now.
You had everybody go. I mean, for some reason, the whole world decided to gang up on.
Not the whole world.
But I mean,
there was
what
some
are some of
supporters.
these guys like? They're so like worried about what you said on your morning
It
show.
was bizarre. Even
Your
local
producer
media.
clipped one thing,
Right.
and you triggered. You're not even allowed to have basketball takes
Caused
because
this-
you don't cover basketball. Like,
Caused a
come on.
big stir. And I would say I was right. That's probably bothers people too. But anyway,
I commend your discipline though of not even acknowledging them.
I'm not. Don't need to. I mean, we got to have takes, right? You can't worry always about what people are saying.
Who cares?
Right? It doesn't matter. Turn the comments off. Don't turn them off literally, but don't turn them off literally. But you don't need to worry about them.
No.
People are going to disagree with you. You know, it is what it is.
And we'll find out. I mean,
now listen, while we're going down this road, he's a very good player. I was just saying from my perspective, I've seen a lot better come in here that were first team all conference guys. And I was naming guys like Paul Pierce, Mookie Blaylock, Chauncey Billups, Wayman Tisdale, Kevin Durant. I mean, come on. I mean, I've seen dudes come in here and they weren't passive, by the way. They were alphas.
like you're taking Kirk Heinrich over him. Or is that close?
You raised that. I would say that's close. I mean, that one's close. I like Sturts. I just don't love him. I like him. He's a good player.
What about Fred Hoiberg as a player versus Sturts as a
It's
player?
close. I mean, that's a close call, too. I mean, Fred played 10 years in the NBA, and Sturts looks like an NBA player. I'll say that. He just doesn't look like the dudes that I saw that I'd come in here and leave the arena going, whoa, what did I just see?
All right, your July vacation with the grandkids. You're gonna go to Vegas and watch the NBA Summer League.
Maybe.
Stay at the South Point Casino
That sounds like a dream.
and go to the NBA Summer League.
That doesn't sound bad at all. You just Uber into the strip and go to those games. It's about an $8 Uber ride. It's not a terrible idea.
Go have dinner at Michael's.
Yeah. Maybe comped it. Maybe get it comped. I don't know if I can afford to take 3 grandkids there. But anyway, that sounds like a
Well,
dream.
then you can watch Bennett Sturts.
I could.
I would assume. I mean, you would assume,
and others.
but you'd assume he'd be playing in the Summer League, right?
Yes. I wouldn't just hyper focus on Bennett Sturts. But no, that sounds like a dream, actually. 3 or 4 days of Summer League staying at South Point.
You could fly that Lincoln Airline flight.
Yeah.
Breeze.
Uber into the strip where the games
Cab.
are. Yeah. Or cab, yeah.
Vegas,
Cab.
the cab town.
It is a cab town still. How many cab towns are there? Vegas, New York, and then what else?
Wherever the mafia still has a strong foothold, probably. One thing the mafia can't get a kickback on is Uber.
Yeah. Isn't Elon Musk working on that Vegas deal? Didn't we hear that? Putting an underground system in there?
And I mean they have the driverless cars.
Yeah. We'll see on all that. But God, I will tell you this. If you're going to Vegas, take the cabs. They're great.
And they're faster.
Yeah. Yeah. They're organized and they're faster and they're that's the thing to do.
After the bowl game, it was New Year's Eve night. So as you can imagine, Vegas is absolutely bananas.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a driver, and she was a cab driver and an Uber driver.
Right.
And it was this older Asian
like
lady.
like my age, probably.
And she had been driving.
Okay, that's older.
She'd been driving probably 25, 30 years.
Yeah.
She knew the routes to avoid all we had no traffic on New Year's Eve.
She knew exactly. She made it very clear to us. She knew exactly what she was doing.
And she got us across Vegas in like 10 minutes.
Yeah. And with no traffic.
On New Year's Eve.
Yeah. With no traffic. We didn't run into traffic on her route. She knew what to do exactly.
So, well,
those were the days. God dang it. I wish we could talk more about it. That trip was,
hopefully
that Vegas trip was amazing.
I don't want to get our hopes up, but Oklahoma City could be fun if we find that out Sunday.
Oh yeah. Just keep it under control. And someday I hope we go back to Vegas.
We can drive through Wichita and reminisce your D'Angelo Evans column.
Had dinner with the Evans family. It was fun.
We can look him up if he's still down there.
I wonder if D'Angelo's still down there.
All right. Well, for Steve Sipple, I'm Sean Callahan signing off here for another edition of Husker Online Headlines.